Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Yakuza 0. This one's going to be a little bit different. This one's going to be a little bit more highly edited and all done post-commentary as well. Just for the fact of how long all of this actually took to do. And the fact that I don't want to make you guys watch and sit through and like watch me do it in live real time. So something I'd like for you guys to do if you guys enjoy watching this game and enjoy this game as a whole, who know more about this game than I do because I'm playing this completely for the first time, completely blind, not knowing what's going to happen. If you have any side content that you think really needs to be done or is really cool that you would like me to do, go ahead and please comment and ask me to go ahead and do it and track it down. You can just give me the name for it and I can find it myself, but I just want to make sure that I'm apparently getting towards the end of the story, so I want to make sure that I cover side content that you guys think is really cool. So I'll leave that to you guys to let me know some of the side quests that you think is really awesome, because there's so much in this game I don't know if I can if I'm going to take the time to do all of it. So and your suggestions would be very appreciated, especially if you guys really want to see me react to something. I realize I've been doing a lot of the plot stuff lately and haven't been doing a lot of the side quest stuff, and also I kind of need more money in order to level up the last of my combat talents to the level to where I can fully train them out with the combat art trainers. So with all that stuff in mind, I decided that since I can't do the real estate game with Kiryu right now, being that I'm stuck at Majima at the moment, I decided to instead do it as Majima. And his thing is the cabaret club, so we're going to be running the cabaret club. So this system is set up to be kind of like almost like an RPG type situation where you're kind of leveling people up to get better skills. You gain more power as you level up, and your experience points are in the form of fans. The better you perform, the more fans you get, and then the more money you get, the more people level up. You know, it's just a big cycle. So the way I started out first was doing a little bit of special training with Yuki. Every time you go to, every time after you do a night of running the cabaret club, you can do more special training. And I realized at this point that the special training stuff is not just about like a small handful of kind of semi-randomized questions or interviews or events. It's actually a set plot that you progress downwards, and it has an end. So at some point it's going to stop happening. At some point it has to end with them. And it also includes more than just talking. You also go and do various events with them. Like for her, for instance, you go and do karaoke a couple times with her. And of course, on top of the special training, since she is the special platinum hostess, you can also change up her accessories. So I gave her a little bit more jewelry and changed her hair to a white color, just because it increased her stats, basically. So as I stated earlier, the way you kind of progress throughout this is you gain more fans, and you basically the main way you can get more fans is just by operating the club and doing a good job operating the club. However, there is a small problem with this, because given the small number of girls that I have working at the club at the moment, especially since Yuki is the only one who's like an actual, like, really honest to God hostess at the moment, they get tired as you keep using them over and over again, because so at some point you have to switch them out. But if you don't have anybody to switch them out for, then they're just going to get in worse and worse moods, and at some point it's not even worth the open anymore, because they've run out of stamina, they're in a bad mood, so everything's going to go to crap. Fortunately enough, the game at this point decided to progress the actual plot of the cabaret club a little bit, and Majima and Yoda, I think I'm saying his name right, is it Yuda? I'm not sure. Sorry. They go stop over the Hino's club just to kind of spy on him a little bit and get an idea of what kind of competition he is. And the game gives us this opportunity to learn that he's even more of a jackass than we thought he was. He's also not only just horrible to his competitors, he's also horrible to the people who work for him and his customers. And he's such a bad person to his employees. He sends a good number of his bouncers over to Majima to get their asses kicked. So he obviously does not care for their safety whatsoever. And it's also at this point that you learn that he also, of course, has his own lead girl, whose name is I think is how you say it. So, of course, immediately following this, the plan is I need more people to be working at the club. That's the only way it's going to be sustainable, as if we have enough people working there to keep switching back and forth. So I do what I did before. I go to the temple and I unlock another 2 girls there at the temple, because that's how many completionist points I have left. So at this point I'm like, okay, I need more girls than just 2 more, so I need to go get more completionist points. So it's at this point where I start to go through and look, what are all the things that I can do in order to get more completionist points that will be quick and easy. So the first one is also related to improving the business in other ways, where much like with the real estate minigame, you can go around to neighboring businesses and form partnerships with them, basically by just throwing tons of money at them. And in return for that, you just get a bunch of instant fans. It's basically, paying the power level in any kind of RPG system. But there's also a bunch of milestones of partnering with so many businesses to gain more completionist points, and based off of those, I was able to get 1 more girl off of that. So now that I have a good number more workers available, so I can switch out a little bit of the roster, I go ahead and go to open the club up again. But more plot starts to happen at this point. I is outside being assaulted by a bunch of men because she works for Hino. Hino's a jackass. He caused these men to all go bankrupt by basically exploiting them through really high interest loans that they couldn't possibly pay back to the point until they went bankrupt and all lost their homes and their wives and everything. So Majima beats them up, of course. That's what he does, and he saves her. And she delivers a message from Hino that he is going to destroy our club. There's more the general, you're an insect, I'm threatening you, I'm a big bad guy, ooh, scary type of situation. She also gets a little bit of a kick out of watching Majima and Yuda and Yuki all interacting with each other at the club. Their little interplaying, going back and forth and making fun of each other and stuff like that. She thinks it's really funny. And throughout this whole conversation, I start getting the idea that she's kind of an airhead, but, that's okay. So as I said, the plan here is to operate the club a little bit more, get some more fans. And at this point, we get up to 1,500 fans. And based off that, we hit the new milestone for the club, which is Hino sends a challenge, a cabaret club battle challenge, over to our club. And Yuda is really freaked out by this, because apparently these battles are for 2 clubs to compete and see which of the 2 of them can earn more money in the night. And whoever gets more money in the night is declared the winner. And apparently these battles are so contentious and such a big deal that you can lose all of the people who are fans of your club by losing one of these challenges. And if that happens, you're basically going to shut down, because you've lost, you lost your clientele, you've lost your entire client base, so now your business can't stay open anymore. So he's really freaked out about this whole situation. But Majima seems like he's going to be up for the challenge, so he's kind of got his usual, bring it on type of attitude. So at this point, I decide I need just at least another girl to come and work for the club, just to get the full rotation of workers going back and forth between shifts on the club. So I go and do what's the next best way to get completion points for the game, which is just going around and beating people up. And of course, since this is the combat in a Yakuza game, you also get tons of money for doing these fights, so it's kind of a win-win situation. I'm kind of attacking this from both sides in that regard. But I've ended up just through meeting milestones on beating up just a total number of enemies, and also beating up enemies in certain stances to get enough points to get yet another girl. And with that in hand, I decided that now is the best time to go with the battle. I mean, the game has presented me with it, so I decided, I ran through another night afterwards, I believe. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So I decided, I've rested up my best workers at this point, so it should be safe to reopen and give this another shot. And it went really, really horribly. So the issue is, as I said earlier, the whole goal of this is to try to out-earn the other business, the Club Mars business in this case, is our competition, and their money goes up so fast in this, and also their little special ability bar goes up way faster than ours does, and their special ability apparently is just to steal customers from you. So every time they hit the bar and use their ability, all of a sudden 2 of your customers just leave, and that makes it where your income goes up slower. I mean, if your income goes up slower, your special ability bar goes up slower. So all this kinds of spirals out of control, and you can never really catch up. Even still, towards the end, I started to catch up a little bit, but they just got way too fast of a head start and went up way too quickly, and I couldn't possibly catch up to them. So despite the grim way that this challenge was presented to us, failure for this, of course, is not close down your club. What it actually does is just makes it where all the money you earn that night goes to the other club instead of you. So basically, you get nothing out of opening your club if you lose the battle. So of course, I approach this like you can approach any traditional RPG, and if something beats you up once, then all you need to do is just grind up more levels and you'll win eventually. So I decided I just need to just completely grind out fans and levels on all of the girls at work. So first is to go and try and get all of the other businesses that I hadn't gotten already, which was a couple of them. And also, as I was doing that and running around, I got an idea in my head that I don't know why I didn't earlier. I guess I just wasn't thinking of this minigame at all. And the issue was, I had seen all these women around the town that were dressed kind of like workers at a cabaret club. And I figured they were just, kind of colorful, kind of streetwalker type characters that would just sprinkle around to add, add variety to the people who are around in the city. But that's not actually the case. They look like they should work in the cabaret club because you can hire them to work in the cabaret club. And the only thing that they need in order to join you is a certain item that they request from you, from a boutique that's in the town. And all of the girls all need something from the same boutique, but they all need something different. For instance, one of them needs leopard's body clothing. One of them needs a purse of some sort. One of them needs a ring of some sort. And you just go and buy them. And they're all fairly expensive. Not super expensive, but fairly expensive. And I know at this point, we're spending money to partner with businesses. We're spending money to buy all these new workers. But, as the saying goes, you have to spend money to make money on occasion, and that very much holds true for this particular situation. So through this process, I end up getting another 4 workers for the club, which is more than enough to completely get a full rotation back and forth between 2 different groups of girls. The main girls that we had since the start that are kind of more high level, and then the more of the newer girls. So it's just a matter of rotating back and forth between the 2 of them, leveling up until we have enough fans and until the main group of girls have enough levels to try to do the battle again. And of course, as it works with any RPG system, after I've leveled up a bit and try again, the second time around it's laughably easy. It's very easily done. We get money and conversely our power up way quicker than the Club Mars people do. So it's really a trouncing the second time around. We really completely smoke them the second time around. And unfortunately for them, while we had plot immunity and our bar would not close down because we lost, his bar, Hino's bar, does close down because he lost. And not only that, the other of the 5 stars show up to the club, personally to kick him out of the 5 stars. So I guess they're down to 4 stars now. And they try to recruit Majima, but of course he's not going to go along with it because he is the protagonist, and we need more story to progress. So we need to take down the rest of the 5 stars, of course. And the rest of the 5 stars all introduce themselves. There's the leader, Tsukiyama. I think that's how you say that. There's also a thug called Kizuka. There's an unassuming old man named Mizumura. And there's a punk kid named Kanehara, I think. And there's also a personal assistant to Tsukiyama. The assistant's name is Kotomi. I went and looked it up. I thought it was something like that, but she actually gets invited to join the 5 stars, but turns it down. She seems like a very creepy person, so I think she's someone we need to watch out for. But of course, from here, the whole thing opens up, and we can now challenge any of the other 4 club leaders for dominion over their particular section of the city. And of course, since Hino is now out of work, his bar is now closed down. Ai has nowhere to go, and he fires her, and she decides she's going to work for us as well. So that gives us another platinum hostess, and much with Yuki, she now has her own plot line that you can go down with the special trainings to learn more about her character and become friends with her and get her leveled up again. So really the whole system has a lot more going on with it than I thought there was going to be initially. I didn't think there was going to be nearly as much of it with this, but they actually built it out into like its own whole subsection of the game. Like you could probably spend as much just doing this in this game as you can spend on other just full-length games. So it's really quite intense, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, I have to imagine that the real estate minigame also can be taken in that direction and takes up that much time. Also, I'm kind of glad I did this because apparently doing it unlocks the final tier of abilities that you can buy for the thug stance for Majima. And also, it gets you 300 million yen when you win. So that's way more money than I even needed. So that's very good. But looking at some of the highest tier thug abilities, some of them cost 500 million yen. So you definitely need that money if you're going to go that far. And I kind of looked around and talked with some people in one of the streams, people who know more about this game than I do. And it seems like that final tier of the stance, it's not something like you need to have, but it's almost like the way it was explained to me, that final tier of abilities, if you buy into those, can kind of trivialize some of the endgame combat scenarios, because it's so more high powered than you're expected to be at that point, I guess. So it seems like this game is one where they've scaled the difficulty to where you just play through the story and beat the story, and the story difficulty is skewed on you've just done like the main story and maybe a little bit of the side content. So apparently if you do like all of the side content, the end game is completely trivialized and so easy. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm also apparently almost toward the end of the game, so that's probably the only video I'll do for this one, unless you guys want to see more of it, because as I said earlier at the very start of the video, I will be taking comments just to see what kind of little subsections of the game you guys think are really interesting to see, and I'll give them a shot. And with that, I'll be done. And next time will probably be more of the main story, but we'll probably start doing more of the sub-content stuff, since I guess I am getting towards the end of the game now. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.